Alright everyone, so today marks the very first day that we can officially say that we are 1 year away from the release of Star Wars Episode 9, which is set to drop on December 19th of next year. Now granted that Episode 9's real release date is going to be December 20th, however if you count pre-opening night, it will be December 19th of 2019. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one of the biggest concerns going into this film is, of course, whether or not it is going to copy a lot of elements of Return of the Jedi. Now, we've seen a great example of this in The Force Awakens with Star Wars A New Hope, where Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew were playing it safe, basically. And a lot of beat-for-beats were actually told in Episode 7 that actually were big comparisons to that of Star Wars A New Hope. I mean, we actually had a trench run, of all things, in that movie on Starkiller Base. Now, going into Episode 9, we do know that this movie is going to be the most original film out of the entire sequel trilogy. However, also some elements from Return of the Jedi will be copied, will be mirrored or transferred over into Episode 9. Now, what do I think about this? Is this anything to worry about? I don't think so at all. I think that this basically just means that we can expect a lot of parallels to that of Return of the Jedi in Star Wars Episode 9. And I think that this all falls in line with a desert world, a forest world, possibly Rada the Hutt, like another Hutt coming into Star Wars Episode 9, stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be a hard copy of Return of the Jedi. Even J.J. Abrams has said this before in the past, that, he doesn't really plan on copying a past Star Wars movie when it comes to Episode 9. So, with that being said, I don't think it's anything to really be too worried about, but it will be copying parts of Return of the Jedi. And we've seen examples of this in, of course, Star Wars Episode 7 and Star Wars Episode 8. I mean, if you look at Episode 8, the whole throne room sequence was basically the whole throne room sequence from Return of the Jedi. Even Rey had handcuffs on. But after all, those are parallels at the very end of the day, right? So that's what I love about George Lucas. It's like poetry, it rhymes. The only thing that I personally had a problem with when it came to The Force Awakens, as much as I love the film, it's entertaining to me, I think it's a great movie, I enjoyed it more than The Last Jedi, I just feel that it had too many beat-for-beats of Star Wars A New Hope. That was my only, big nitpick of the movie. Other than that, great film. I thought it was a pretty entertaining one because of the questions that it left open and all the different mysteries that we had in place going into Episode 8. And with that being said, here we have a similar situation where there's still a lot of mysteries in the middle film of this trilogy. Sure, Rian Johnson, kind of made Rey a nobody and her parents are nobodies and this and that. But going into Episode 9, we do know that a lot of revelations are coming our way. So copying or copying or transferring some elements from Star Wars Return of the Jedi and putting that into Episode 9, I think it is, a risk. It is a risk at the same exact time. If you do too much of it, that's when fans are going to get a little fed up. However, if you keep it pretty much, mild, where it's not too excessive and, you can see like little elements of Return of the Jedi here and there, then I can respect that. I can absolutely respect it if it's that level. Again, these are only parts of Return of the Jedi that will be copied on over into Star Wars Episode 9. Like I say, this could mean something as simple as, Rada the Hutt being Jabba the Hutt's son, being a part of Episode 9, as we heard a couple of months ago. We'll have to wait and see if it makes the final cut of the movie, but apparently Poe, Finn, and Rose have a scene with that character. The Hutts are going to have a role in this movie. So that's another interesting aspect for sure. You can see, how J.J. Abrams is dipping into certain aspects of Return of the Jedi and bringing those aspects into Episode 9. Another great example is if you look at this desert world and this wood world, this woody world, or this jungle world that we've been hearing about, very much like Tatooine and Endor. You can see the similarities here and there if you guys have been going over some of the set leaked photos and all that. But let me know what you guys have to say about all of this. What are your major concerns for Episode 9? And what are your hopes for this movie? What do you hope to see out of J.J. Abrams' mind? You know, what do you think he has in store for the fans around the world? I, for one, think it's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to stand out from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. For one reason, we do know that they're not really latched onto anything right now. Luke Skywalker is pretty much a thing of the past. He's only going to be coming back in the form of flashbacks and in the form of a Force ghost, as far as we know, unless we're really in and or due in for a surprise, like Luke coming back to life, then that's a different story. But other than that, this movie really is primarily focused on Kylo and Rey. So at this point, we really have nothing to lose. So going into this film, I'm pretty excited. I'm fascinated with how J.J. Abrams is going to tie everything all together. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.